Good evening and welcome to the Whaler Guys. I'm Jerry Irwin along with Pete Hindle on that side of the blue line. It's a little warmer here in Hartford. We are at 20-28 Sargent Street, world headquarters of the Whaler Guys and the Whalers Brigade. It's starting to look better these days. Maybe January thaw, outside chance.
A little bit. We're going to have some, we had like below freezing temperatures, -8, -13. And then, a week later, this is what Mark Twain said. If you don't like the weather here, wait a couple minutes. So now we're going to get 50 degrees and monsoon season.
That's right.
So, I wish that the status of Hartford hockey changed as often as the weather, but things are a little stagnant.
We're still out in the cold.
Yeah, we're still out in the cold, and things aren't. They're not moving. The whole town needs a lot of Duselax, right? Duselax, whatever to move things along.
Mucinex?
No,
Mucinex is for the head cold.
X-Lax, whichever you like.
Yeah, move everything along.
There's a jam up.
Yeah, there you go. And it's not because of the ice jams.
No, it's not. No, unfortunately.
Well, last night I had an opportunity to watch some NHL hockey. It was great. I between your commitments and my commitments and working, I sat down, watched the NHL Network, and watching a blast from the past. There's this guy who used to play for the Bruins, and he was on. I can't think of his name. Sure.
Jaromir Jagr.
No, he's gone.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Was on Keith Jones from the Flyers, and he's always a lot of fun to listen to on NHL Live. And they were talking about the league leaders and everything going on, and the one that pops up right away is the Las Vegas Golden Knights. They are amazing. Yeah. They have 60 points so far this year. They're leading the LA Kings in the Pacific Division by 7 points. LA is in second with 53 points. Yeah. And the GM George McPhee, who I'm not a big fan because he used to play for those communist Canadians, had the great line. He goes, needless to say, it couldn't be going any better. And not to jinx it, but he's absolutely right.
Yeah, it's got that yard goats thing where everyone's going. The team's winning. It's unbelievable. This is something that I said, no way. I didn't think I thought 60 points for the year would be kind of impressive. But it's interesting. To have this team actually make it into the first round of the playoffs and maybe even have home ice advantage,
Sure.
That's astounding. And I tell you, I keep saying this, I think it gives credibility to the players within the NHL to show you that there's so much talent that a whole other team could come up, absorb the scraps from, I hate to say scraps because that sounds mean, but you're taking the players,
unrestricted free agents,
the unprotected players. So teams are leaving players unprotected, and you pull those, 18 skaters and a couple of goalies, and all of a sudden you're in first place in the first year. That's
exactly.
That's amazing. It's pretty incredible.
The prime example is the Bruins left Subban out there.
Yeah.
And he's now, playing great for Las Vegas.
Sounds like he just needed to be, and you couldn't because of Tuukka Rask, but it sounds like that Subban wanted, to share the load, to take the load on as a goalie.
Or a change in venue.
Yeah.
Obviously, because, he was up with the Bruins a couple times and he played really horrid games.
Yeah, and we saw him at the XL Center. Remember, he blew a stack because he...
that didn't work out too well.
I never heard a stick hit the...
crossbar.
Yeah, so loud as that night when Malcolm Subban was pretty upset. And
he said, it is like glass out there.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who plays pickup hockey, once a week.
Yeah.
But he was like, this is amazing ice. The boards are great. And, his team ended up losing 6-3, but it was for a great organization called Homes for Our Heroes for the military. So when our troops come back, their homes are now outfitted for handicap accessibility and, to help with their disabilities that they will have coming back from war. So, he said the ice was fabulous.
Oh, yeah. And it really, unfortunately, the bad news is it has not helped the teams this season. And we're going to talk about UConn, and Lindsay's got a couple pictures here. We saw them play Quinnipiac, where they were shut out. We know they lost to BC before that, so they had 6 periods, no goals. Then we saw them play Merrimack last Friday, and they tied it up 2-2, and they're going into overtime. I went for a bathroom break, and 13 seconds later I walk out and the game's over. Missed the whole thing. They made one rush up the ice and lost a bad game to Merrimack, a game they should have won. They should win those games. Merrimack is below them in the standings. That was 2 points in your conference you kind of tossed away, and now they got almost another must-win at Merrimack this Friday.
And you know as well as I do, we were both watching the Quinnipiac game.
Yeah.
They were just flat.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had too much Christmas dinner,
Yeah.
holiday dinner, whatever, but they got wrapped up by Quinnipiac just like a Christmas gift.
They were husky the wrong way, maybe. They got
were.
a little too much.
And the Merrimack goal, since you had to go tinkle,
Yep.
I sat there and it was a shot on goal.
Yep.
That puck was left right there,
Yeah.
and they swept it right in. It was a rebound made for me and
Bad
you.
loss. Yeah. And then, so, you talk about the ice is really good. They're not playing that well on the ice, though. The UConn, I don't know what to say. It's a little depressing because this is the 4th season now, and we're kind of in that area where they're just kind of in, not really that spectacular. And unfortunately, to bring it up with the Wolf Pack, they're not doing so hot either. We talked about them. They're in the last 7 games, they're 2-5. The Wolf Pack have scored 18 goals, but they've given up 28. As we discussed earlier off camera, they're 134 goals they've given up. That's the 2nd most in the league. They have like the 6th worst record, and the creme de la creme for all of us that really stinks is it's not good for the XL Center, of course. 3181 is the attendance average, dead last 30th, and over 2,000 under the league average. Not good at all. Not good at all.
Some of that has to do with the play.
Yeah.
And we know here in Hartford we have very fickle fans.
Yep.
You have to put a winning product on the ice.
Yep.
And when you sit there and you look at what they're not producing,
right.
You can see that people aren't coming to the game. The only time they're coming to the game is when Dave Romenko and Spectre do a great job getting the groups in there.
Yeah.
But during the dead of winter, we're not getting many groups in there.
Yeah, and we feel bad about it too because it's not the management company of the XL Center because they get a limited amount of money to promote with, and so that's a bummer. They're kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place. We do talk about the brand. I've been very vocal that I think you need something new, a new brand for that team. But that's a long story, and sometimes that doesn't always pan out to more butts in the seats.
But again, no, it doesn't, because if you look nationwide, the AHL attendance is down. You're not going to get it's not comparable to the NHL.
Right.
It's not comparable to college hockey.
Yeah.
We know that across the country, unless you're in certain areas like Hershey that draws amazing crowds,
Yep.
You're not going to get it. But the thing is, you have to put a winning product out there, and I feel bad for Keith McCambridge because he's really had a tough time. You talked about Chris Nell. He's now on his way. Georgiev.
He is taking a back seat to the new goalie.
Yep.
Who wears the number 2, and actually what's good thing about it is he's I think at a 2.47 goals against average. The Wolfpack have had goaltenders have been above 3, and as I told you, they give up the 2nd most goals. And out of those last 7 games, so they're 2-5. 3 of those times they gave up 5 goals in a game, and you can't do that. And they gave up 4 in another one. So, you're talking about 4 out of those 7 games, you give up at least 4 goals. That's way too many, especially for this team that it's not exactly lighting it up offensively either.
No.
And
you can tell they're frustrated too.
They are, and there's a couple prospects on the team that are interesting. A couple of AHL veterans. I think they're actually better than this.
They are better than this.
But it's just,
we've witnessed better than this. They just can't get that chemistry down, and I think that's what I feel bad about is they have a club that can potentially get out of that rut. They just haven't found the right combinations.
Yeah, and while they're like right now 7th, 8th, or maybe they're 9th in their conference, it is true that they're probably, if they put on, this sounds crazy, but if they put together like a 5 or 6 game winning streak, they could actually get back into the hunt. So they're not like completely gone, but to ask them to come back now, it's going to take some kind of special spark, I think. But yeah, you think with these new ice and the new boards that maybe they'd be playing better, but it's almost like they.
We're going to see. Lindsay, are you able to put on that interview or no? Okay, we're going to switch to an interview we had at Woody's on New Year's Eve. So listen to this with Michael Lombardo, great Whaler fan. We'll catch you next time on the Whaler Guys. Hey, it's Jerry and Pete, the Whaler Guys. Here we are with Michael Lombardo, right?
Lombard, no vowel.
Lombard. He is the guy with the tattoo on his calf that we put all over our page because he is a faithful Whaler fan.
Yeah, I could say I've literally had people at Bradley Airport come up to me and go, hey, look at this cool Whaler tattoo. And I'm like, I know that guy. So it's pretty cool. That's an awesome tattoo. How long did it take to get that done?
Tattoo probably only took an hour and a half.
That's not bad at all.
I got it done in North Carolina. That's the ironic thing.
Oh,
I actually
how about
got
that?
the tattoo when I was stationed at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina.
That's awesome.
And we thank you for your service.
Yes.
Of course, above and all, thank you for your service. As we talk about bringing back the Whalers, the license plates, what was your fondest memory of the Whalers? What, if you could pick one highlight that sticks in your brain for all the years the Whalers were here, what was it?
It was probably the goal horn, and I remember it specifically when I went to a game with my brother and my dad. A guy that my mom worked with had season tickets, and I guess he wasn't going, so we ended up taking him on a Friday, and I'll never forget when the Whalers scored. I don't even know who scored because I was younger when the Whalers scored, and when I heard how loud the horn was and how loud the crowd was, I thought the building was going to come down. I'll never forget that. That's when I really just started to like hockey in general. That's what turned me on to it.
You know, it's a lot of people will come on tonight and they'll talk about their memories. And, you know, for me, it was the Kevin Dineen goal that just lit up that place. You had the brass bonanza going off. They were beating the Canadians. And, you know, what a better night than beating the Canadians with Kevin Dineen scoring on Patrick Waugh, who can't stand that team. And it's great because, you know, Kevin Dineen was like Jeff Jacobs said, John Wayne on skates.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that game blows my mind. There were so many, and then you actually saw some games this weekend where you saw great crowds at the XL Center. You saw the men play. Was it Wichita State?
Men played Wichita
yeah,
State.
the men played Wichita on Saturday, and you said it was like 15-6.
In the Hartford Current today, it said the Hartford Current itself talked about how big the crowd was, and it was a just shy of 15,006.
Right,
Which
and then you saw the women today.
women played
And who
today.
They played?
Memphis.
And that was how many people do you think were at that game roughly?
That game, there must have only been a couple hundred people less at the women's game.
Wow.
It was very close, but you know there were people all the way up against the back of the wall.
And it's games like that show the marketability of Hartford. And you could draw a big crowd in for these games. So you got 30,000 for 2 basketball games. Those tickets I was telling Mike earlier were in New York when they were at Madison Square Garden. They were the highest. UConn was the highest drawer of tickets. So somebody has to realize that there's something there to make some money off of, and the XL Center just needing more money if they can get it up to speed. You never know, but it's things like that are positives for Hartford.
No, they are a good thing, and it's only going to be a matter of time where once people start seeing wow, UConn has elite sports. Yeah. We're packing the house for them. We need to give them the barn that they deserve to play in. Right, all these other schools, your Oklahomas, your Ohio States, they have Taj Mahal facilities. Right, and you want to know what? We have a ceiling full of banners, and the building deserves. They deserve to be elite sports play there. Let's have it be an elite facility.
And you don't want to wait until all of a sudden 600,000 people aren't coming to the city because there's no XL Center. That's what really irritates me, and Pete knows how irritated I get, that nobody understands that without 600,000 people in Hartford, there would be no nightlife, there would the restaurants wouldn't exist. Woody's, who's been here for 40 years, wouldn't be around except for the daytime crowds with the people working downtown.
We'd be interviewing panhandlers if there was no XL Center.
And we can do that too, but we're not going to go to those lengths just yet. It's too cold out tonight. Yeah. Well, Michael, thank you very much. We wish you and your family a happy new year. And it could be the year of the whale. If we get some investors in, the XL Center gets redone, we could be talking NHL team. I'm hopeful for 2018. Get this thing remodeled, and let's get on the road.
I wouldn't be the way I am and talk the way I am. I wouldn't have the tattoo if I didn't believe. Or people are waking up every day and realizing what we could have, what we should have.
And we were a major league city, and we can do it again.
T-shirt for you.
There you go.
T-shirt time.
Whalers
It's a medium.
Brigade.
I hope you don't mind. No, I'm just kidding.
We will be back with more interviews.